Look at this fast, expensive car. We all want to travel in this. It is fast, quiet, and perfect. But if you do not have the keys, what do? Do you just stand still? No, you put on your shoes and you start walking. Today's story is about a man who waited for the perfect vehicle to reach his dreams, but he forgot that his own 2 feet could take him anywhere. Let's listen to The Moving Classroom. Meet David. David is 30 years old. He has a big goal. He wants to learn a new language. He buys expensive textbooks. He buys a beautiful notebook. David believes that learning requires a perfect environment. He thinks he can only study when he is sitting quietly at his desk at home or during his lunch break in a silent room at his office. He needs silence. He needs perfect lighting. But David is a busy adult. On Monday, he plans to study at home for 2 hours, but his baby is crying. The house is noisy. He closes his book. On Tuesday, he plans to study at the office, but his boss gives him extra work. He has no lunch break. He closes his book. Days pass, and David's beautiful notebook is completely empty. David spends a lot of time doing normal things. Every afternoon, he drives his older daughter to school. He waits in the car for 20 minutes. Then they go to the playground. David sits on a bench for an hour while his daughter plays on the swings. He looks at his phone. He plays a silly game. He thinks, I cannot study here. It is too noisy. This is not a classroom. David also hates his daily travel. He lives far away from his job. Every day, he spends 2 hours moving from one place to another. I have no free time, David complains to his wife. My life is just work, traffic, and noise. I will never reach my goal. I have 0 hours to learn. David starts making excuses. He dreams about a magic solution. If I had a lot of money, David thinks, I would take a fast flight to another country. I would sit on a quiet beach. Then I would learn perfectly. He is waiting for the sports car. He is waiting for the fast, perfect journey. Because he doesn't have the flight, he does nothing. On the weekend, David visits his grandfather. His grandfather is an old man who speaks 4 different languages beautifully. David looks sad. Grandpa, he says, I want to learn like you, but my life is too messy. I don't have a quiet office. I only have noise. His grandfather laughs. It is a warm, deep laugh. David, his grandfather says, do you think I learned these languages in a quiet library? Yes, David says. No, Grandpa replies. When I was young, I worked on a cargo ship. The engine was terribly loud. The ocean was rough. But I had a small book in my pocket. I read 1 word a day in the noisy engine room. Grandpa points a finger at David. You are waiting for a luxury flight, Grandpa says. Stop waiting. If you cannot fly, take a slow train. If you cannot take a train, get on a crowded city bus. If there is no bus, ride a bicycle. If you have no bicycle, walk. Just move. David listens. He realizes his grandfather is right. A classroom is not a room. A classroom is wherever you open your mind. The next day, everything changes. David stops waiting for perfect silence. He rides his bicycle to the store and he listens to a language podcast in one ear. He sits on the city bus and he practices vocabulary flashcards on his phone. While he waits at the school, he writes 3 sentences. While he sits at the playground, he speaks out loud to himself. He doesn't care if he looks silly. A year later, David is not perfect, but he is fluent enough to have a conversation. He looks at his notebook. It is full of messy handwriting, spilled coffee, and folded pages. He did not learn in a quiet office. He learned on buses, on bicycles, and on noisy playground benches. He learned during his daily travel. He realizes that 5 minutes of messy work is always better than 0 minutes of perfect work. My friends, Are you waiting for the perfect moment? Maybe you think, I will write my book when I have a quiet office, or I will learn English when I have time for a real class. Stop waiting for the flight. Your life right now, with the traffic, the children, the loud buses, and the busy days, is your classroom. Do not throw away your 5 empty minutes. Pull out a book on the train. Listen to an audio lesson on your bicycle. Have the courage to be messy. Use the vehicle you have right now and keep moving forward. Thank you for watching The Moving Classroom. Learn one new word on your commute today. Goodbye.